Hey there, everybody out there in the land of YouTube. Annette, Dion here. I'm the host and founder of the one and only Psychic News Network. Welcome all. It's hump day. Today is Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. The energy out there in the atmosphere is exceedingly tense. I think that's got to something to do with people starting to catch on that have never paid attention to what's going on in this country. I think that the more that people catch on and start paying attention, the more the collective stress level will feel stressed. So welcome. I'm glad that you're here. Wednesday nights are usually pretty lightly attended, so for some reason. But we still meet. And I thought I'd pull out some tea leaves tonight. So we do have tea leaves. It's been fall-like weather here in New England. Really fall-like weather. Not sure how it is where you are, but boy, we're having a real cool down here. So, as Annie informs us, it's 104 degrees in Tucson. Oh, but just to be clear, I'm not complaining about the cool weather at all. I think it's wonderful. It's a little bit unusual. Okay, glad you're here. Dreary in Ohio today? Yeah, it's been overcast and raining on and off. I just came from a Chamber of Commerce event, and so that was good. It's good to get out there and talk to people, and I want to talk about that. I want to talk about getting out and talking to people in general, because I really feel that that's been missing, and we have, as a collective society, we have been very neglectful of the need to meet one another. Like, for example, think about this. If you go to an event, like a networking event or some kind of a social event, does anybody come up to you and say, "Hi, how you doing?" and introduce themselves? Or, flip that around. If you're at a social event, some kind of gathering, particularly a networking event, do you go up to a person and say, "Hi," as kind of like just the way that you are and the way that it is? I'm going to remind us all of something. If this were the 1940s, 50s, 60s, all the years, the decades before technology took over our brains, that would have been really natural. You'd go out to a club, you'd go out to an event, you'd go out to something, and you would just it would be natural. So the reason that I'm bringing this up is, yes, I did in fact just come from a Chamber of Commerce event, for business owners. I rejoined after I didn't like it for several years because it was cliquey. And because I said something about that, I got to learn that other people had said things about that, and then people don't like that it's things that are cliquey, right? So it doesn't only have to be a professional networking event. We can do that as a regular way of being. So I'm finding out that others share the same sentiment, and others want it to be different. Others want it to be different. And when we move into that kind of a way of being where we want it to be different, so we're going to make it different, and we're going to make ourselves be friendly and talk and smile and all that. When we each as individuals make it different, then we will see this country shift. Now, I see somebody saying up there, ugh, Texas House just approved new congressional maps in order to get more Republicans in Congress. Shout out to Warren Green for making us see that. We knew they were going to do that. We knew they were going to do that. The Democrats knew they were going to do that. The Texas Democrats knew that they were going to do that. But the Texas Democrats stood their ground. Anyway, I just want to make the point that even though you might not hear people talking about it, because maybe we forgot, people want to talk to others. We're going to look at some cards. It's becoming clearer and clearer to us. And before I get into the news, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Oh, you called the Texas Speaker of the House today and they hung up on you? Oh, I called and left a message. And Darren, who might pop in later, who's absent tonight, but she said she might pop in. She said that she called the Texas Speaker of the House and the lines were tied up. Wonder what time you called, Dale. So do you know what I mean? Yeah, well, what I'm talking about, just about the social environment, the social climate that we're in. I've mentioned several times Sebastian Junger's book called Tribe, and I think everyone should read that book. Because what we learn is that people are better in a crisis. People are better people in a crisis because when we're forced to meet one another and to talk to one another, when we're forced through an extenuating circumstance to link arms and to help one another, people are better in a crisis. And guess what's happening? We're in a crisis. We're in a war. We're in a war. So, as far as the Texas situation, let's really start talking about it like this. We're in a war. Damon's ready to fight. He's saying, let me at them. How do we know that we're in a war? Because they treat democracy as though it's the enemy. And everyone who wants to maintain our democracy is being treated as though they are in the enemy camp. And I'm going to ask Darren, I mentioned she's busy tonight, but Darren put up a quote that was by a former Russian leader. I'm not sure, I don't remember the name, that said in 1956, remember that? We talked about it on Monday, that said in 1956 that America could be owned by Russia without a single shot being fired. He said it in 1956 because Russia could attack America from within. So pass the word, we're in a war, and the enemy is conducting a coup to overthrow any Democrat within their sights. There is no longer a Republican Party. It's a party of evil people. It's a party of Putin, the pop party. We can call it that. No, it wasn't Gorbachev. It was a name that started with a K. We'll have to ask Darren when she's here. And it's taken people a while, I feel like, to really notice. And, you know, even the Democrats over the past years have been attempting to think that the Republicans would come to their senses and really they'll do their jobs. And then it took a long time. But we're at that turning point where we are in a war. And the war is basically Russia against America, and it's fascism against democracy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull, yeah, was it Khrushchev? Khrushchev? Is that correct? Khrushchev, remember, go back and listen to Sting's song. I think it's entitled Russians. I've mentioned it. I hope the Russians love their children too. Mr. Khrushchev says we will bury you. Sting sings. I don't subscribe to that point of view. Believe me when I say to you, I hope the Russians love their children too. It was Khrushchev. Okay. I'm going to pull 3 cards about how the Democrats are doing. Now, I don't want anybody like, wah. Oh, the Republicans, they gerrymandered Texas, wah. I don't want to hear any of that. They want to be brutal. They want to be cutthroat. They want to be a-holes. We don't just sit there and cry and go, this is so scary, this is so scary. We fight back. And I'm going to tell you something, because I just found out that Susan Collins of Maine has a competitor. And his name is Graham, Graham Platner, Platner. He's a regular guy from a coastal community in Maine. I can relate. I'm not sure exactly where he is. He's I think he's an oyster fisherman, an oyster farmer, and he's a down home kind of guy. Yeah, you've heard. I'm just now getting wind. I heard that Susan Collins was going to have a competitor, and this is the kind of guy you want to support and vote for. So go and support him. Let's see if there's a link here. Support Graham Platner. Yeah, go to Brian Tyler Cohen. Republicans get surprise bad news about the Senate. It was about an hour ago that that interview posted. I'll copy it and put the link in the description. He's an oyster fisherman, yes. Yes, with a lot of MAGA friends. And I know from being in Maine over the last several years, there were a lot of Trumpsters in Maine. And there were a hell of a lot of Trumpsters in New Hampshire. And they're starting to come around. And they're starting to be really upset about the prices of things. And people, especially all those construction workers, all those men driving their construction trucks, Trump bumper stickers, Trump flag, Trump, the American flag bastardized, right? But it's changing because we are uniting because we don't want to lose our democracy. So I'm going to choose 3 cards about the Democrats right now. And I'm including the Texas Democrats, the Democrats in California, the normal people. You love how Gavin renamed the Gulf of Mexico. It's now the Gulf of Gavin of what? The Gulf of Favin? You mean Gavin Newsom? He's trolling. Yeah. I'm reading on the Democrats, including Gavin Newsom and the Texas Democrats. There were many things that Kamala said on the campaign trail that we still really need to think of and chant. When we fight, we win, which is right behind me. It's backwards, but it's right behind me. When we fight, we win. We're not going back. What were some of the other slogans that the Kamala Harris, Tim Walz campaign used? They're weird. They're a bunch of weirdos. Mind your own damn business. Yeah, so the Democrats, we're reading on the Democrats. The Democrats have a secret. Okay, so the Democrats are definitely feeling held hostage. The High Priestess indicates keeping it under wraps, and the Princess of Cups. I think that the situation in Texas with Collier, what's her first name? I don't know if she's been let out. I mean, in case you don't know, what the Texas pieces of shit are doing is they're treating Democrats, and of course they're women, and they're black women, I think they all are, who went back and were standing their ground. They're treating them like they're I hate to say it, but they're treating them like they're pets that need an owner to walk them around. Because what they wanted to do, if you haven't heard, is they wanted them to sign a permission slip that they would walk around doing their regular activities with a law enforcement officer following them everywhere. That is what do you call that? Holding them hostage, right? I can't really think of a different treating them like slaves on a plantation. Nicole Collier. Okay, thank you. I kept wanting to say Colleen, and it's like no, it's Nicole Collier. I think hostage is the only word that we can come up with because that's what it is. It's a hostage situation to say you can't go anywhere unless you have a law enforcement officer with you. That's yeah. It's kind of like stalking. Right? Oh, there's Darren. I was telling people you couldn't make it tonight. Stalking, it's kind of stalking and hostage taking. Intimidation, yeah. I'm just thinking of the crime that you would call it. Anyway, so I'm reading on all these Texas Democrats. So right now where we all are is feeling imprisoned. It feels like the Democrats are trying to find out what the pieces of shit in Texas. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. My anger is bleeding through. They're trying to figure out what their next move is going to be. And the Princess of Cups is this woman, Nicole Collier, is kind of like a hero. She's kind of like a hero. This is what the Taliban does, right? Yes. And that's why we have to shut it down now. Damon saying it like when I walk into a store and people keep looking at you. That's because you're so beautiful. You have severe anxiety. Stealing is impossible for you. Oh, that's funny. Yep. Yep. I mean, I understand what you're saying. What I feel like, though, because I get the Ace of Swords about the Democrats, is that we have a little bit of adjustment time. That's why I was going on about we're in a war. We have a little adjustment time. And these types of things, they do reach a point where the whole thing tips over. So, there's a whole book on that called The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. So it is getting to a point where it's going to be national awareness. It's going to be in the national zeitgeist or the consciousness that we're in a war. And the war is between democracy and fascism. And we're getting to that place, but the Eight of Swords told me that there's a little bit of a holding pattern because more people need to catch up with what's happening. That's what I liked about this guy in Maine that's running against Susan Collins. And let's just check the pendulum and see how it's going for him. Will he win? I have a yes, he will win. Somebody's saying the media is starting to break. We'll read on that next. Yeah, The Tipping Point. That's a great book. Excellent book. Also, I want you all to go and see if you can find the book, The 100th Monkey. I read it at Church Spirituality a few weeks ago. So Graham Plattner in Maine. I just used the pendulum and it said he would win. And I'm getting the words, it's like no contest for Susan Collins. You get people that are basic working class people, basic blue collar people. When we rally, I'm going to read on this too. When we rally those people, I know what it's like. I grew up in a blue collar town. There's a lot of that here. A fishing town, just like this guy, Graham Plattner. Think of a platter of graham crackers. Graham Plattner. The little tricks like that help you to remember. Graham Plattner. When we appeal to the middle class blue collar workers. You're not crazy. I went around here seeing fishing boats with Trump flags. Went nuts. I don't see them anymore. So let's read on what the American people are doing and how close we are to the tipping point. And here, I have a great idea for a billboard. Think about this. I want your feedback on this. I have a great idea for a billboard. You seeing no Trump flags? And I'm probably going to push this idea. I don't know who to send this idea to. But I think huge billboards all over the country that say these words, that have 1,000 concentration camps. That's all it needs to say. Right? I want your feedback on that. Thomas is here. I don't know how to fix your handles. I wish I could figure that out. YouTube changed it. Send it to Midas Touch. Well, let me tell you something about Midas Touch. I have my song about saving democracy, and the tagline is, we're taking back democracy and we won't be backing down. So what is Midas Touch doing right now? They're going on tour, giving talks, and guess what it's called? We Won't Back Down. If anybody has a connection to Midas Touch, they need my song, I'll give it to them. Somebody tell Wildflower Wind why I'm saying we need big billboards all over the country that say 1,000 concentration camps. Somebody tell her, because I can't break it. I can't break it to her. I can't say it. Dad joke, why do birds fly south for the winter? Because it's too far to walk. That is a dad joke. Just send the song to Ben. I don't have his contact information. You think Jordy does all the promo stuff? Okay, well, that's helpful. Somebody tell Wildflower Wind why I'm saying we need billboards all over the country. And maybe I'll just go on social media and just keep posting it everywhere. We need billboards that say 1,000 concentration camps. Is anybody going to tell her why we need those signs? I'm more interested in the song being out there. It's a public service. I'm not looking for money. What am I reading on? See, blah, 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 and I forget what I'm reading on. Okay, Ten of Swords, Hierophant, King. When Terry's here, she reminds me. Philip has the info for you. What I do see, I think I was asking how we're doing. Yes, I was asking how we're doing as a country. Okay, so this is all the pain that people are going to be feeling. How we're doing. And then we're going to all put our focus. We're going to all go, what the fuck, right? And we're going to all, like, when we realize what's going on as a country, then we go, we want our Constitution. We want our Constitution. No, not only we want it, we're fighting for our Constitution. We overthrew a king who was taxing the hell out of us. Can you say freaking tariffs? It's the whole thing. Where do you access my song? It's on the Grassroots of Democracy website, and I'll repost it. It's here somewhere. I'll put that in the I'll put the link in the description after I'm all done tonight. Why doesn't a reporter ask Trump how much money have you made while in the White House, sir? Because he wouldn't tell the truth, but it's a good question. We want our Constitution. We want our Constitution. We demand that you follow our Constitution. The thing that's holding this country together right now, just like the situation in Texas, with the Republicans wanting to put a leash, metaphorically speaking, on the Texas Democrats to follow them around like they're little puppy dogs, it's disgusting. George Conway does billboards. We need billboards like that all over the country. There's some good ones going up in New York City. So this is what we, the people, are going to do. And the King of Cups, this is our emotions overflowing as a democratic society. And this is our Constitution. So we're going to want to get back to that. And it's going to be, you know how things trend and things catch on and then everybody's talking about it? It's going to be like that. And I think what I'm seeing here is that we're going to see a lot of talk about our Constitution. A lot of talk about our Constitution. Now, this morning on Off the Ledge, I learned something new today that really I thought was pretty stunning. And I didn't know this, but AI uses up the whole sort of way that all works is every time you use AI, it uses water. So all the electronics and everything, all the infrastructure of AI, did you guys know this? How often I've said, I hate AI, but the reason I keep giving is that because AI is artificial intelligence, and what's wrong with human intelligence? We've barely scratched the surface. Well, here's the other thing. And I read it, and I'll post that too. I'll have all kinds of things to post for you because I did save it. I got a Substack article today. I received an article, and it talked about AI and how dangerous it is for the environment. It uses tons and tons and tons of water that we drink that we need to live, to cool down the infrastructure. And it also generates enough, like as much carbon dioxide as 5 cars driven for like a year or something. Each time you use AI. And yeah, it uses tremendous energy. I didn't know this. And I thought, I'm going to get on my soapbox about it because you know how I get, and tell everybody we're already on the brink. Dumpy already wants to drill, baby, drill, baby, drill, and tear down all our national parks and turn this into a hellscape. And we will, it's like game over for us, right? If we don't stop this. Cryptocurrency mining, yes, it's horrible for the environment. Horrible. But did you hear anything about that? Because I haven't heard anything about that. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about that. Are we going to be more like aware of these things? Like I had no idea. Yeah, and AI it's not that good anyway. We would never restore the national parks if they're destroyed. They would never, no, you can't restore that. You can't like outdo nature. They put those machines, the infrastructure for AI and cryptocurrency in minority neighborhoods, and they're getting sick. Yeah, so we're reading on that right now. Wait, I got the Hierophant again. This indicates that our justice system is holding us together right now. Yeah, water. Water, Damon. That's what I got. And the people will be fighting this. They'll definitely be fighting this, and the message will be crystal clear that we need to push back. You can't pave over a meadow? Did you see what they did to the rose garden? I mean, you can pave over a meadow. Gavin Newsom is using AI to troll Trump. Well, I guess if you're going to use it, maybe just use it for that. Let's pull 3 cards about Gavin. How's he doing? How's Gavin doing? He's got the message. He's got the sword of truth. Gavin Newsom keeps coming up as the king of swords. And he's kind of between a rock and a hard place right now, Gavin Newsom, but he's a man with the truth. I keep seeing him as like the Pied Piper. Some people are using AI and think they're connecting to the other side. Really? Some people are using AI. I think it was the same article. I didn't see the movie Her, H-E-R. Did you guys see the movie Her? Kind of like Hal and what's the movie? Space Odyssey, where the computer the computer voice becomes like humanized in the person's mind and they get really attached to them. That's starting to happen too. Yeah. But as far as Gavin Newsom, it looks like he's the man with the truthful message, and he's in a bit of a pickle here. And and I feel like that's around generating enough support for his Texas gerrymandering. Let's see how that goes. But the Prince of Swords, this is a younger generation rallying around Gavin Newsom, similar to the way the young generation rallied around Bernie. 2001, thank you. It was Hal in 2001. Humans getting like, like feeling like the computer is a human, getting emotionally attached. It's messed up. Okay. So, is Gavin Newsom going to succeed in what he's doing? I have a yes. I have a yes that he'll succeed in what he's doing. Now, the other night I meant to read on MAGA Mike, and then I got reading something else. But let's grab some nefarious cards. They come back in September. I think they come back on September 3rd. I think that they're really in a conundrum, because what they're supposed to be having a hearing with the Epstein victims. And MAGA Mike, remember, he called a recess like 2 weeks early. The August recess he called in July, because all this pressure was on about the Epstein files and the names, and they promised all the MAGA fans that they would release the files, and they didn't, and all that is going on, right? And so now in the meantime, they've had like 1,000 FBI agents, although we don't know really who they are, go in and redact, and cite every time Dumpy's name comes up in the Epstein files. And I don't know if they took them away, but all I can see when I think about the Epstein files and how all that's going to go, what pops into my mind is Bill Barr, after the Mueller report was released, black marks all over it. And Bill Barr, I'll never forget the day I was parking my car and I was listening to him, and he said, "We haven't found any evidence that Trump had meddling in the 2016 election." Something to that effect. Same energy for the Epstein files. But anyway, we're reading on MAGA Mike. That's what they're doing. Will Friday bring big files? What? You're saying, will Friday bring big files to Congress? I don't understand that sentence. Will Friday bring big... MAGA Mike. I found some new cheap glasses. They work a little better, but they're awfully big. They're awfully bold. They kind of take up my whole face. I think that's in style, though. All the other Texas Dems signed the permission slip, but not Nicole Collier. I know, but some of them came back and ripped them up. MAGA Mike. Secret, secret, secret. This is MAGA Mike. Look at MAGA Mike. I can just see. That's kind of what he looks like to me. The Epstein files were submitted Friday to Congress. Okay. MAGA Mike, Page of Cups. He's got people running around. He's got little minions running around doing nefarious jobs. Think tech bros. Think tech bros. I see MAGA Mike talking to the tech bros for some reason. And the high priestess is keeping secrets, keeping secrets, keeping secrets. So let's ask this. Are we actually going to see someone saying this card looks like Gollum to you? Keep in mind, if you read energy, you look at that and it looks like Gollum to you, but if you're reading it psychically, it looks like MAGA Mike. Are the Epstein files in readable form going to be released? No. N-O, no. Someone's asking, will Jasmine Crockett run for Senate now? I think she prefers to stay where she is to help her district. Will she run for Senate? No, I think she prefers to stay where she is and to fight. Carl is saying, if my MAGA dad in 2028, day after election, angrily asks if I'm happy, blue won 2028, I will cry, smile, and say, hell yeah, I made the right choice. As for who regrets it, time will tell. Oh, I think a lot of people are regretting following Dumpy right now. His numbers are way down. Yes, the victims will come forward of the Epstein crimes. Yes. Let's read on Putin. Let's read on Putin. Please hit the thumbs up. I almost forgot. Because we don't have 200 in the house and we need 200 thumbs up to do a group hug. So every one of you here, all 197 of you, need to hit the thumbs up. We'll get to 200 if you all do that. We're going to read on Putin. And then we'll read on Dumpy's health because I feel him. You know, there's a certain point that people get to when they're at the end. I'm just going to say it. There's a certain point that people get to when they're at the end that their life force energy just starts leaving them. I'm just going to backtrack a little bit. I see Lannis' mom. I got a definite maybe to releasing the files. My question was, will they maybe I didn't clarify the question. Will we see them? Will we see what's in them? And I got to know, which means to me, they'll be redacted. But that doesn't seem like the end of it. All right, Putin. How is Putin doing right now? This is what I feel with Putin right now. I feel like he's in a frenzied, harried state, but I feel like Putin believes he has an ace in the pocket, and that if he can just get over this rough patch, he's golden. Isn't that interesting? To me, it is fascinating. All right, let's see. Two of Wands just holding. This is Putin, the devil, holding on so he can inflict more evil. Not that he's holding on, because he's inflicting a lot of evil. And the Six of Wands. Yeah. Okay. So Putin is planning to, even though we already lost the war, I got that a long time ago. They've lost like 1 million soldiers. I see that Putin is, he feels like he just needs to get through. This is interesting. It feels like he's thinking he needs to get through this rough patch. And then once he gets through, it's kind of like if you go on a hike, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going on a hike. Not that Putin goes hiking, but maybe. I doubt it. And then you're like, oh, this is a really steep part of the hike. And you're like, if we can just get through this really steep part, then it'll be easy. That's what it feels like Putin's going through right now. If he can just get through this time, this certain short period of time. Yeah, I've heard that Russia lost 1 million soldiers. Then he'll be golden. That's what it feels like. So let's ask this. Is that because he's going to pressure Dumpy to give him the help that he needs? Not so much. Oh, isn't that interesting? Does Putin have a plan after he gets through this rough patch that I'm seeing to do a huge attack? Not certain. Can he be pushed over the peak and leave us alone? Yeah, right. Just gotta get to the top of this mountain. Boom. Let's ask this. I'm curious about this. When Dumpy met with Putin, did Putin scare him? Yes. Putin scared him. We might have to do a little deeper dive into this. But before we do that, yeah, Putin scared him. Interesting. We'll do this first. Okay, well, we'll investigate this first, and then I want to read on Caroline Leavitt. This is a new name for Carolyn Leavitt. Caroline Leavitt. Caroline. Putin is a scary dude, that's for sure. So he did say something to Trump that scared Trump. Did it have to do with Dumpy's mortality? Not directly. Yeah, not directly. Because, okay, let's ask this. Does Dumpy really think that Putin is his buddy? That Putin really likes him? Yes. This is so freaking dangerous. As Thomas is cracking a dad joke. It's crazy that Earth and Jupiter are both classified as planets. They are worlds apart. That's like a science teacher joke. You saw a joke that the Peace Prize would go to Zelensky. That is actually where it should go. I'm going to pull 3 cards about Dumpy and Putin. What's gone down recently? Don't you love it how in our faces his treasonous traitorism is? It's unbelievable. Putin is the father Trump never had. I don't know. Fred was pretty evil, but I know what you mean. How are their talks going? So then I hear, and you've probably heard this too, that Dumpy wants Zelensky to go talk to Putin. Yeah, right. We'll read on that. Okay, Dumpy and Pootie. It's all about the money. Okay, the moon is very, very emotional. Dumpy's emotions are really peeking out. Did you did you hear? Did you hear that Dumpy was questioning whether he'd be going to heaven? And people are sort of surmising that he's thinking about that maybe he's not long for this world. Dumpy, have you heard that? They should give the Nobel Peace Prize to Kamala. His head would explode. That's for sure. I don't know what he wants a peace. I mean, does anybody know what the hell he's talking about? Standing out there or sitting out there like a big fat walrus in front of the entire world and saying, I ended 6 wars. WTF? He commented he wants to go to heaven. Talk about delusional. That's beyond the pale. So as far as Dumpy and Pootie, whenever they talk, they gush. Whenever they, yeah, he's stalling for Putin. I think that's very true. The six of cups. Okay, this is what's going on between Dumpy and Pootie. If you really want to know, it's like if you want to impress a guest. This is what Pootie's doing. If you really want to impress a guest, say you had a really expensive place, a B&B or something, and you really want to impress your guests, you would make everything just beautiful and perfect and make your guest feel so welcome and loved and appreciated and supported. And, that's what Pootie's doing for Dumpy. And the fact that what's popping into my head is it's like when you invite a guest into your hotel, gives me a little clue. The Pootie is probably saying to Dumpy, you can build your hotel in Moscow. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's being told to him. And Maureen7351 is asking, can someone please explain how his treasonous actions aren't accountable now? Yeah, I actually was going to start with that tonight, but we'll go to that next. You believe, Darren saying, I believe there's always also a money prize when you get the Nobel Peace Prize with Felon 34. Always follow the money. Yeah, that makes sense. Remember Obama? Obama had just gotten into office and they wanted to give him the Nobel Peace Prize and he wanted to refuse it and he felt silly. For Dumpy, it's like the air that he breathes. I need the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah, right. So as far as him and Pootie, boy, he's promising him. This is what I'm feeling like. Pootie's promising Dumpy luxury and is in a hotel. I really feel like he's promising him a hotel in Moscow. And as all this is happening, I feel like Dumpy actually is wondering, not that he wonders much, but doesn't know if he's going to last that long to be able to appreciate a Trump Tower in Moscow. Interesting. Oh, okay. Lauren's informing us the Peace Prize is about $1.4 million. Obama took the prize and donated it all to charity, as did Teddy Roosevelt. Thank you for that bit of United States history trivia. We're going to read on Carolyn Lyon Leavitt. Dad joke, did you hear about the man who got polio but then went on to become a fascist dictator? He ruled with an iron lung. Fascist joke there. I noticed that I've gravitated towards the nefarious cards only. Actually, let's read the other deck of nefarious cards. The original ones. Dumpy got a bad health update the other day. Is that factual? I heard that. I didn't know if that was actually factual. We all want the military to arrest Trump already, and we're going to look tonight. We're going to look in a little while. We're going to read on what the fuck. Oh, somebody's asking about Graham Plattner in Maine. Yeah, he's going to beat Susan Collins by a lot. By a lot. And I'm going to donate to his campaign. I'm going to put the link in my description here. Trying to remember everything I promised to put in the link, and I'll put my song in the description. Taking back democracy, and we won't be backing down. If you all are going to act all impatient, I'm not going to read on when the military is going to take Trump away. Three cards on Caroline Leavitt. I don't know who started that one. I might have heard Gavin Newsom say that. Do you know who started that one? Caroline Leavitt. Let's keep our focus, is my suggestion. Keep your focus on what's going on now. Don't worry about people winning or not. I did want to know about the Graham Plattner in Maine, though. But we have so many things to think about. Like, for instance, before we even really think in depth about who's going to win each election, we really have to handle the fact that they're trying to throw out democracy. So then elections become a moot point, right? We have 206 in the House, and we need 200 thumbs up. Oh, it just dropped down. Carolyn, she's getting really bad at the lying. She's a terrible liar, and now she's just yelling at the press. Maria's saying, I always saw the military grabbing Dumpy's nasty ass and throwing him into a military prison. I am patient. And the other day, I think it was yesterday, Psychic on the Rocks. Did you hear my that video from yesterday? I saw, like, that scene from A Few Good Men when they're in the military court. I see a scene like that. Let's ask this. That scene that I'm seeing, I'm wondering if it's Pam Bondi. Yeah, that scene that I'm seeing is Pam Bondi of the military court. I'm reading on Caroline Leavitt. The magician, oh yeah, she's always trying to spin. She's not even lying well. She's saying things like, oh, there was so much crime in D.C. and we really have to crack down on the crime, and mail-in voting is the worst ever, and it makes the Democrats cheat. And I mean, diarrhea of the lies. It's unbelievable. Caroline Leavitt. She's got a lot more lies up her sleeve. That's all she has. That's all she has. Her job is to lie a blue streak. Ace of Wands. Yeah, this is what I see. Expect the lies to continue. I'm going to pull. This is basically telling me what she's all going to continue to do, Caroline Leavitt. She's spinning. Boy, does she spin. Let's take a look. Let's ask the pendulum. Just for the sake of, amusement. How much longer will she get to do this? Another month? Heaven no, on another month. She has a terror. She doesn't lie well at all. And I'm asking, if she's going to last another month, and it's saying no. You think the press called her Miss North Korea? Oh, yeah. Yes. All right. I have to remember I have tea leaves. Do we make 200 thumbs up? Please become a member, because when you become a member, just by hitting the join button, I'll make sure that gets in the description too. You have access to all of my classes. You can learn everything that I know from me about what I do for the mere, I think the lowest member amount was $7.99 a month. That's not $799 a month. It would be worth it if it were $7.99. Next week, I'm going to start a series called How to Read Tarot. Caroline, her first day, she came out with a nasty tone from the jump. Yeah, she's awful. She's awful. Oh, yes, and a tip of the hat to Boston Mayor Michelle Wu. That's right, Alice, you're in Quincy. You're right there. She was great. She told Bondi to stay out of it. Mind your own damn business. That's what I'm saying. She didn't say that. But I think we should all get back to that. Mind your own damn business. That's a Tim Waltz one. Okay. So, there's so much to read on. Should I stay on until we get 200 thumbs up? I might have to, because I haven't even gotten to the tea leaves yet. I want to read on if we're going to see. Oh, this is what I want to read on. I'm trying to decide which cards would be most appropriate. Because this has been on my mind all day, and it's on everybody's mind. Why is Dumpy still there? Why is Dumpy still there? This is making us crazy, right? Why is he still there? Ice was in Connecticut the other day. Okay. Why is he still there? We need to know. This defies logic. Thank you, Warren, for putting my info up. If you want to mail me a check, I love that. Thank you to those of you who do. As you can see, YouTube doesn't like me very much. So it's hard to make any earnings on YouTube. It's very, very minimal in relation to how much energy I put in. Why does Karl Marx only drink infusions? Because he thinks that proper tea is theft. Because the universe wants us to go crazy like him. Okay, so here's what we have. With the Eight of Swords is the prison card. I'm asking why he's not been arrested. Why he's even in that position. And an interesting thought came to me today that I wonder if there's a threat of massive damage to the planet if we do anything to Dumpy. Like, hold him accountable. I don't know. Like, it's got to be something. Is there a threat of massive damage to the planet? No, it's not that. Okay. What the hell? I do have the Wheel of Fortune. So this is saying, yeah, he hasn't been imprisoned yet, but It's a matter of certain forces converging, coming together, and a turn of events that happens, and then we have him in prison in a certain way. Alec is saying, get off your arses and get involved. Yes, do something. Join Indivisible in your area. Thank you for your activism in the chat. That's always appreciated. Does Pete Hegseth have the nuclear codes? I don't feel that he does. I do feel like cooler heads are prevailing. Okay. Is the reason that Dumpy is getting away with everything for 10 years now? Is it because of Russian death threats? No. I'm starting to think from a cosmic standpoint, it's because Americans need a smack upside the head, metaphorically speaking. And the truth of the matter is, wait, is that what it is? Look at how many people have to wake up. Yeah, that's it. That's it. And that's exact. We know you want him arrested and taken away from the White House. We know that, right? We all want that. I don't think Hegseth has the nuclear codes. Let's see. Does Hegseth have the nuclear codes? No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Okay. Is the reason that he hasn't, that Dumpy has not been arrested from a cosmic standpoint, because America has to wake up? Yeah, I feel like it's yes. So I'm gonna say something about that. Yeah, they're driving us nuts because if we don't find our power and our power to unite, we perish. So, it's kind of like we are now in a no choice situation unless we choose fascism, right? And, let's thank our lucky stars that, but for the grace of God, we're not in Ukraine being bombed or Gaza starving, right? So that kind of thing is motivating for we of the good people. What was the other thing I needed to read on? Let's pull 3 cards. I've been going over lately. I've been going overtime. I don't think we're going to make it to 200 thumbs up. I'm sad to say. I need your help sharing my videos, and then we can get there on Wednesday nights. I've tossed it around in my head. Should I just quit doing Wednesday nights? And I keep coming back because I think we need this. Is the United States, where do we stand on winning our democracy back? We haven't learned our lesson. It's true. We have not learned our lesson. We need to reach that tipping point. So the question is, are we getting there? We have to feel our feelings. I really think, it's a matter of great intensity of feelings. We've been holding back, and that's why we're stuck in this holding pattern. We got 200 thumbs up. We did it. I am so impressed with you all. Thank you. So awesome. We need a kick in the ass, right? Right? As a nation. We need to save our democracy, and we need to save our planet. And saving our democracy really contributes to saving the planet. They want to just cut down trees everywhere. You know what I mean? It's okay. So anyway, the Ace of Cups. We are going to come together. We are. I don't care what anybody thinks. We are doing this. And when I look at what's going on in Texas with Nicole Collier and the Texas Democrats, I'm reminded of the civil rights movement. People died. People got beaten up. I'm sure they lost eyes and limbs. And, John Lewis got his head bashed in, almost died. And we all hope that it doesn't get to that, but I'm just reminding us all here that we can't expect no pain because it's like labor pains for a woman who's having a baby. The pain is part of it. So I have tea leaves to read, and tomorrow we have our guided meditation for a healed America. If you're stressed out, especially if you're stressed out, you can binge watch. you can binge meditate, because I have every Thursday night there's a guided meditation for healed America under the lives. A few of them are recorded, but most of them are under the lives. So tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, that's when we do our guided meditation. And please, so the head Target CEO has stepped down due to boycotts. Yes, it's working. It's working. So please join us for that tomorrow. I'm looking for my pointer so I can point to the tea leaves. Let's see what we got. Maybe I'll use this as an actual pointer. Okay, what do we got? This to me looks like a fighter jet, and this is Venus. And so we have a fighter jet, and we see Venus. Okay, let's interpret that in a minute. And then there are two people there. There's like a this looks like a father and a child. Like a father and a child. He's putting his hand on the child's head, like there, it's gonna be okay. This is reminding me of the children of Ukraine and all that they're up against. I feel like there's gonna be some kind of movement towards helping the children of Ukraine. I'm not sure how that's gonna transpire. This is a duck. If it walks like a duck and talks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. That's the kind of time that we're in right now. Then under Saturn, we have, this looks like a man jumping. So this is like a lot of activity where truth comes out. It's hard truth, but we're just going to see if we can kind of jump through it, get through it. And that looks like a whale. And that looks like a cat or an owl. So the wisdom of the earth is going to make a difference for us if we can tune into the earth and get into nature and think about saving the earth. I do see families coming together to help one another and to support and protect one another. Yeah, I do see that fighter jet is really strong. I feel like that has to do, just to elaborate on that point, that has to do with Ukraine, the European Union coming together and really focusing on the children of Ukraine that have been kidnapped. And I think that gives, NATO really a lot of and the Party of the Willing, the European group, I think they've really doubled down on, we need to save the children. So they're going to double down on the help that they're giving to Ukraine. So we've got to count our blessings in this country, and one way to count our blessings is to be really demonstrative with our activism. So make activism what you want to be. Make activism what you see everybody else wants to be. We need to do a group hug. So let's do a group hug about that. Okay? Let's do a group hug about people just going, I want to be part of that. Where everyone has a FOMO who's not activating. Let's make it a thing. Remember after 9/11, there were a lot of movements towards, supporting America and helping one another. Like, let's make it a thing. Activism is what we all want to be involved in. So let's do a group hug. Let's do a group hug about that. And that all the Democrats get stronger and are supported and guided and protected by huge angels. And anyone who's struggling and depressed and all those who are being detained, let's just do a group hug for all those who are suffering. 1, 2, 3. Lifting up the collective energy in this virtual space. Can you feel it? It's real. We are all made up of electrical energy. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Okay. Please hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. I said today that I was going to stop begging for readings because I don't want to do that because it feels weird. So right back behind me, under psychic.Dion.com, it says psychic readings. That's where you go to book a reading. And I'll see you real soon. Off the Ledges Daily. Tomorrow night we have our guided meditation for a healed America. You should get a notification about that. When you become a member, you get all sorts of perks. So we'll see you soon. And namaste. Thanks for coming and tuning in. Bye.